Cool. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on your time zone. Thanks for joining today. I'm Jonathan Gruber. I'm leading the SE team at Port. Great to see you all. So today we're going to run a walkthrough. If you're familiar with Port and Port's public demo, we have totally revamped the whole demo from scratch, focusing on, first of all, different personas, but also building Port in the right way, meaning that in a way that you can be easily replicated and copied in case you're building your own IDP. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to present the new demo just before starting. So let me just feel free to ask questions in the Q&A, and I will try to answer them at the end of the session. Maybe some of them halfway through, but definitely at the end of the session. So please don't wait. Feel free to ask them during the sessions in the Q&A. Cool, and with this, we can start. So just a quick thing. This just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. We have announced a new community workspace that you probably have seen in all kind of announcements. We are basically splitting up into two workspaces, one for enterprise customers and one for the community to be helped. So same open channels, community help. If you have not already, feel free to please join the links. It is the link in our website or in the all community, the one now called Enterprise. You can click there and join the new community workspace. Feel free to engage, to introduce yourself, ask questions, and yeah, benefits the community. Great. So let's start. So I'll share a few highlights and the key principles on the new community, the new public demo that you can see, and we'll spend most of today playing with it. So I'll take you through the platform, and I'll take you through the various screens, various implementations. So in the new public demo, and I will split this demo into three parts. The first part, I will take you through the developer persona. Okay, so I'm a developer. My platform team built an IDP for me with Port in this case. So we are going to understand better how it's let me just check the sound. Yeah, we just understand, sorry, something jumped just on the deck. We understand how, we understand what I can see my services. So basically see like the point of view of a developer and what they can do with the IDP. The second persona that we're going to see will be the dev lead, so dev manager. We're going to see as a dev manager what metrics, ownerships, tasks I can find for the team, so how it can be useful, or as a VP, executive manager, I can see all kind of DORA metrics, trends, and bottlenecks. And the last, I will see how, as a platform builder who needs to build this IDP, we'll go through the building part, the admin panel of Port, and understand how it is built and understand the logics and how the new demo helps you build your own IDP. So that will be the agenda for today. So we'll split, basically we'll do 3 mini demos today for the price of one. Great, so let's go. Let me just see if the Q&A said, maybe, you know what, just to open, to warm up the room a little bit and see that the Q&A works. Can you just write just a little hi or question or something in the chat just to see that it works? Or just kind word, and so that at least we can see that the chat works. How to access this demo? So first of all, you go into Port. You probably know about it. On our website, you scroll down a little bit, and then you found the check the live demo, and this is how you can get to our live demo. Our live demo is open. You don't even need to log in. It is regularly updated. And you will find a few panels. You have the home page, catalogs, our service, and the builder. So I'm starting now as a developer persona. Okay, so first I'm a developer. My platform team launched a new IDP for me. What do I find? How is it beneficial for me as a developer? As a developer, I want to understand, I'm a new developer, maybe in the team, I know nothing. I want to understand what are the services that are related to me, that are related to my team, that I'm in charge of. I want to understand what are my tasks? What are the PRs that I release that are pending review, or the ones that are that I need to review and approve? If they have JIRAs that are pending, many prioritized. and I want to do things to simply do my job. I need a new environment to try a new feature. I need maybe a cloud resource. I need permissions to do something. So we try to see how I can interact with the IDP that the platform team built for me and see how it's beneficial. I'm the new developer. It's my day one at Port Inc. And I will see that those are my services. There is a dynamic filter that the team put where I can understand everything about the services that I'm in charge of, who is on call, run books, links to dashboards, Grafana, Datadog, filter. I can understand who are the last committers. Maybe I'm wondering about some parts of the code that are there. And I can understand like everything. I can see that there's a SonarQube project or scan associated to it, as well as PagerDuty. I will come back to the actions in a minute, but I can find all kind of handy actions that are ready for me to use. But part of tasks, also my platform team put for me some the PRs that are open for me or the PRs that are waiting for me to review. So those are urgent tasks. I even have some priorities and they're filtered. You can see that there are much more PRs in the company, but those are the 5 that should look at today. So making my life super easy. I will find the incidents that maybe I should be looking at, and possibly Jira tickets, right? So very quickly, and they can reshape things, move things around as I want, and I will be able to understand. Okay, those are the tasks that I need to do. Right. So this is the homepage that the team created for me. If I want to dig further, I will be able to dig into all kind of views inside the catalog. You can see that we are leveraging all the features of Port now, grouping them into themes. I can see that I have my service dashboard as before. I can find all kind of runtime, maybe services, cloud resources and others. But for the sake of my interest, I want to understand better what's up with this authorization service that then I've been asked to put to work on. So I will dig into this service. Again, it's my day one. I have no idea. I understand that it's a backend service. It's written in Python. It's customer facing. This is the URL to find this service. I can see that recently there have been 2 incidents from PagerDuty, and the last committer is Christine if I have any questions. The team even created a dedicated Slack channel around this service to share events, to share alerts, to share any other questions. I understand everything about my service. My platform team hid a few parameters for me or properties for me, just to make it easy to read. But maybe as a company, I prefer to have more things about coverage, about Sonar projects, about other links, so we can have much more data on this. But this is what we decided to have. That would be handy and visible. I will find the README without leaving the screen, without going into GitHub. I can find already what I need to know about this service. I will even find its API specs, so super handy in a nice way. I can even build an API catalog similarly. I can see the latest runs for this project, and I can correlate if there is. We'll talk about incidents a little bit later, but I can correlate already incidents with recent events. The team even created. Let's say that some of what I showed is missing. Maybe there's been a lot of failures recently. Maybe there's no README. Maybe there's no on-call. So I want to catch also that the service is misconfigured. It is not production ready. It is not meeting the standards of my company. So for that, we have created scorecards where we created an exhaustive list of scorecards just for the sake of the demo and for the idea of for you in your company is just to pick a subset of those. And I will find ownership scorecards, for example, where I want to make sure that I have a responsible team. I have a core rotation for the last at least 2 escalations level, and I have a code owner, and this helps me meet the gold standard. And we are also illustrating that we can customize now the levels and the names of the standards. So here we have bronze, silver, top notch, and this would be for the doc maturity, and I can create other scorecards. Nice. My platform manager even created some nice dashboards to see all kind of other properties and histories, and leveraging the new line widgets for me, so I can see all kind of analytics associated with this project. Okay, so this in the dashboard. This is great, but now I want to understand what's around the service. Okay, so I'm about to touch the service. Where is it running? Is it in AWS? Is it in Azure? Is it in Europe? Is it in running in Ireland, in the US? What are the recent, maybe I'm investigating an incident. Someone said there's been something in the metering, can you check? And I want to see what are the latest events around this. Has there been a recent merge, a recent deployment? So I will be able to see everything associated. So by associated, we'll understand later in the builder, what does it mean? But everything associated to this service. So I can see that my running service it runs in production, deployment, and staging. I can understand, I can see the pull requests associated to this service. I can see the Jira issues associated to this service, and so on and so on. So if I go specifically into the running issue, I will be able to go the running service. I will go into this entity and see all the data. It's some kind of insights from New Relic, where it is deployed, and so on and so on. So I'm now looking at another entity, and similarly, I will have scorecards associated to the running service. I will have dashboards associated to this running service, and so on and so on. So I'm finding actually an incident, a sentry alert, so I can start to understand that my troubleshooting is like all in one place, and I can start to shorten the investigation by better understanding the recent events. Right? I don't know if you're familiar as well, but we also have a graph view that populates basically all this in a graphical way. So I have my service, I will see where it runs in a runtime, I understand that it's associated to some cloud resources, to some entities in New Relic, and so on and so on. So really, really handy to see it as also in a graph view. And let's say that I'm interested into this alert in Sentry, and I can go straight into this alert and seeing it there, and it's unresolved. Great. I can keep digging in the catalog and seeing around. You feel free to play with it. But basically, to summarize, 360 of my services, understanding tasks, understanding vulnerabilities, and everything I need to know about a service in one place. The other thing that will be very, very handy is that my platform engineers gave me a lot of resources, a lot of self-service actions, so that I can do my job much, much faster and push a service to production much faster than before. So I can scaffold a new service. On one hand, I benefit because it's going to save me a ton of work. My new service App 99, and I will say I'm the owning team. The domain will be marketing. It will be, let's do it in Node. We'll make it internal service, so customer facing, and we will make it a front end, and I'm going to execute. It is going to create a new template of this service based on what I selected. So I'm happy. In a second, I don't need to wait for DevOps to wake up and do this task. And DevOps are happy because it's offloading them, but also my new service will be like best of class. It will have everything. It will have a template. It will have a CI. It will have a scanner. So basically, I'm improving the quality of the services that we're creating. Nice. And we can see a ton. We'll talk about how to build those when I talk about the builder persona, and you can see a ton of examples. Again, this is an exhaustive list. The idea is to show you a little bit of everything so that you can build your own, and we'll talk about this when we talk about the persona. So this is it about the developer persona. I hope it was a little bit exhaustive, but you can play with the demo and dig through the different screens. And let's move to the second persona, which would be the dev persona, the dev lead persona, the manager, the VP. So what do we find there for the dev lead persona? So the dev lead will unlikely go service by service and try to see one by one, what's missing or what runs where. This is useful for his team to go much, much faster. But what are the benefits of what we built? Did the IDP help do faster? Did it shorten time to production? Are we doing writing more code than before, which is the promise of an IDP? Are we removing the bottleneck? So those are KPIs that we want to understand. Are the PRs spending less time than before? Maybe in average, a PR was spending a week for review, but now we hope that it reduced to 2 days. So is it meeting this promise? So as a dev manager, I want, first of all, my team, I want to understand, what are the services that I'm in charge of? I want to understand the quality of the service that I'm in charge of. So I will have a scorecard overview, and I will be, this is my team, and I will be able to see in average, like I'm passing only 45% of my roles and understand which are the ones that are problematic. So I'm going to ping the dev manager, the dev in charge of the intranet and tag, to say, hey guys, I really need you to improve maybe the ownership criteria that is missing or others. You can see that we revamp as well the UI of the scorecards review. So I will be able to, I'm in charge of my teams, and I will be able to understand where do I need to put more effort to increase the quality or to meet the quality standards of my company, and to make sure that, what are the teams that need maybe some more training or some more coaching to meet those standards. So very, very handy view by team. Or maybe I'm in charge, I'm a VP, I'm a director of engineering, I'm in charge of the shipping service. So I don't want to see it by team, I want to see it by shipping. So I want to make sure that all the shipping services, so in another view and logic, and we'll see how it's built, are meeting those standards. So we can cross and present it in all kind of ways. And if I want to make it some gamifications, I will be able to see, maybe I'm the VP and I want to make sure that to finger point a little bit the ones, or to appreciate, let's go in the positive way with the carrot, the ones that are doing the best effort, the best improvement. So I'm going to have like a weekly maybe report of who is the best in terms of meeting those scorecards, and with some kind of leaderboards. I also want to see those in metrics, on trends. So I will, if you go into the organization dashboard, you will see product pillars, you will see domains, or you will see teams. And I'm really curious, how well are doing the automation team. And we'll see also some others. I can even see by users. I can see all kind of metrics. And I'm really wondering how the automation, it's a new team. It's a team that was really problematic. I want to see how they're doing. So I can see this view, and I will be able to see for this team all the data that I want to see, their sprint boards, their wikis, their Slack, and I can find them and so on. I can see who is part of that team. So who are the members of that team, the users of that team, so the GitHub team in this case, or the users of that team, the Jira issues. And I want to see some kind of analytics, maybe how long is a Jira, how many Jiras are pending in this team? What's the deployment frequency? What is the trend? So I can see that the deployment frequency is improving, seems to be, actually, no, it's actually decreasing, it's going lower. The lead time for change though is going much, much lower. It's a good trend. I can see that the incident, something's really bad now in this team. So we need to understand maybe there's some stability problem and correlate this with the scorecards. And you can see that we created all kind of, it's a new team. So just now they started to calculate the cost for this team. So I have all kind of analytics by team, and I have the same analytics by product line. Maybe if that's of interest, I want to see how much does marketing cost. So I will be able to see a similar views, and I can create the dashboards in a similar way using the widget, and the new widget view can create my line charts and pie charts associated to domains. Great. I invite you to keep playing with this. I want to see how successful as well are my team with the self-services, so I can see the history of the runs of the self-services. So you can, the last thing I want to talk about for the manager persona are the initiatives. So now we decided, okay, by the end of this quarter, we acquired the Sonar. I want to make sure that everyone's using Sonar. I want to see everyone onboarded, and I want to see the progress of the onboarding. So I created a new page called the Sonar is set up. I'm explaining to the team what is expected to do this. We created a self-service action to help you onboard them and have no excuse. You can simply, with the self-service action, onboard your services. And I can see, like, still have half of the teams not having a project. I can see the PR specifically that are not having a project. I can see the by team that the explorers are totally bad. Like, okay, it's true they only have one service, but it's not onboarded, and I can ping them. The visual storyteller are going well. So I will be able to drive initiatives and create my own view as a manager to track this initiative across a quarter, right? And you can see all kind of other examples, mapping a service with PagerDuty, making sure that every service has a PagerDuty associated to it. So I wish I had time to play with everything. So just scroll, play a little bit with the different views that we created, security views, cloud resources, and so on. We can see the new dev environments with the TTL that is apps. Sorry, I'm going too fast. That we added there. And this is a great introduction to automation that is we can cover in another dashboard, but in another webinar, but this would be basically automatic at the end of the TTL. I want to trigger some actions automatically. But again, I don't want to lose my audience. Feel free to play with those page, dig in, and you can see that there's a lot of golden eggs. I mean, when you dig somewhere, you can find all kind of dashboards hidden to them. So try to find all the golden eggs. Last persona will be the builder. How do you build all this magic? So you have a huge IDP, a very extensive IDP. So make sure like you don't build too much. Focus on your user stories and what will make you successful. So for you to be successful and to build what you need to build, we have rebuilt the whole data model. A lot of it is hidden. So you can see that there are here hidden blueprints, and you can unhide them from this view. It's just to make it a little bit more easy to read. But what I want to share is that a lot of time where people are wondering is what direction should entities connect to each other? How do I see a SonarQube project in the right way? How do I map a sneak vulnerabilities? So in the data model that we created, everything is in the right direction as per best practice. So in 99% of the case, if you want to connect a running service to a service, you'll just do it in the same way that we have it here. And you can rely on our data model. So that's really the idea of what you see here is to be copied. And if I'm taking another example, I want the SonarQube issues. I'm wondering how should I connect the SonarQube issues to services. So I'm seeing that SonarQube issues is going towards services directly or SonarQube projects. I want to, this week I had a customer said, oh, I'm not seeing the SonarQube associated to the service. I said, just go to the public demo, copy paste the same data model. And then, yeah, they were super happy and got it fixed. Another example that I can share with you, team, for example, I want to see ownership and team in the same way that Jonathan showed us with metrics. And so I will see the port teams, and I can see that port teams is having a lot of aggregations. This is how we're creating those graphs. And this how, and I'm seeing that we're going from a service. So we're going from a service to the port team. It's dashed, so there is one in the middle because we have a GitHub team in the middle, and feel free to hide everything. So really go ahead, play with it, and that's really meant to be. Another word on the sales, on the catalog is fairly obvious. I mean, you can just replicate what you have here, nothing too magical here. So feel free to go ahead. You can go either copy from there, or you can go into the builder and straight extract them in JSON. The last thing I would like to say is what about all the self-service actions? So there's a lot on purpose. This is for you to also, we wanted to point you to the template and how to build them. So I really like the creating a new PagerDuty service. I find it inspiring. Maybe I will add one more question in the form, and I will find here in the comments a URL pointing me to a guide that explains me how to create it. Okay, so for most of the actions, you will find an associated guide that shows you how to build the guide. Just have refresh. Cool. And you can see, yeah, there's a ton that's on purpose just for you to get inspired and maybe show your teams like what will be most useful. Is really to give you an inspiration, not to tell you it is not a best practice to have hundreds of self-service actions. Just another thing that I might highlight is that in case you end up with a lot of actions, and I have customers with tons of actions, remember that you have the ability to create a widget to summarize them. So to have a page with just a subset of the actions, or to have them as a widget action board here. Amazing. So just as a summary, we went through today the new revamped public demo. We covered the developer persona, the dev lead, and the platform builder. I want to remind everyone, in case you joined halfway through, to join the new community workspace. We migrated to a new workspace. Please click on it in Slack, or you can find it in the old one, the link to the new one, and feel free to leave the old one. And now let me take a few questions. So please write in the Q&A and not in the chat. The chat is not open, and I see a few questions. Another example. Yeah. So there is a question about automation. So, okay, let me share a little bit more about automation. So automation, you can find it here. It's an amazing, amazing feature. Automation, so self-service actions means I'm a developer, I'm waking up in the morning, I need permissions to access, I don't know, something in runtime, and I'm going to trigger it. Okay, so it's something that is manually triggered. Automation is the same, except that you probably already caught it. It is triggered based on the change in the catalog. So in this case, I have a TTL that is expiring. I want to destroy the token, or I have maybe a new critical vulnerability, open a Jira ticket. I have a new alert from Grafana. I would like to create an incident and send a Slack message. Okay, so if this, then that, this is the idea of automations. And we also, in the same way, you have a few examples that are here. A lot of use cases in incident management, vulnerabilities handling, ephemeral environments, temporary permissions. So a lot of use cases, and we shared a few that are here. Thanks for the question. Let's see 2 more questions. I'm trying just to see if I'm able to get it. It's not opening. Ronnie, is there any chance you could read or retype the questions? Let me stop sharing.
They're mostly highs from the beginning.
Great. Cool. Nice. Good. Fantastic. So, perfect. So I'll let another minute or 2 if there are other questions. Otherwise we can sing a song. Can you explain the API management in the portals? So is the question related to how do we read from APIs? No, I guess API catalog. So I will address the question. So the question is about APIs and how do we see APIs? So it's a very common use case. So first of all, we want to make sure that everyone documents their APIs and documents them with the Swagger. So there is a property that allows us to present the Swaggers in the UI. So you'll see this is a great example of how to present it. It is also possible for users who have a centralized API catalog, like in one repo, to create entities based on files, for example, and to create another catalog page and that would be an API catalog page. Super common. We see this use case more and more. Remember that port is an abstraction of the entities. Anything can be an entity, anything can be a blueprint. So a team can be a blueprint, domain can be a blueprint, a meal can be a blueprint if you want, if you own a restaurant. So an API catalog is a fantastic blueprint with the entities that could be your API endpoints. And we can create relations with each other. So what APIs call what APIs, and even see it in a graph in a nice way. Thanks for the question. Great. I understand. When I share, I'm not saying the questions. Cool. Cool. Yeah, there's another question about initiatives. So I think I covered it, but let me show you quickly. Initiatives are here, right? That's what we covered a little bit earlier. You can see 3 examples of initiatives, and I can track for every initiatives what is the progress of the initiatives, what teams are meeting what initiatives, so I can create all kind of views. So feel free to drag into those. There's a few ways to do it. A great way is to create a dedicated page where you can track, maybe create automations with weekly reminders of status of the progress. Can even add a graphs to see the progress of you can show this in a trend to see that how far you are from meeting your objectives. Great. Now, remember, we have an open community. If there are things that you would like to go further, if you are even to have a private demo, feel free to ping us. You can find myself, Jonathan Gruber, in the community. At the moment, we have the 2, so you can ping me in either way. And thanks a lot for taking the time and joining us today. Bye-bye.